So obviously, I have to ask about last week and where we left off, because it was a pretty interesting revelation there with this freezer. What can you say about that? There was a lot of people even speculating, does this mean he hasn't actually killed any of these zombies, or has he killed some? So what can you say about what that reveal means?
Well, I think, it's such a huge reveal, because up until this point, I think it's been really tough to kind of settle with the fact that, like, this kind of our white knight is killing people. So it was kind of a nice relief to sort of see, like, okay, so he hasn't turned into a completely cold-blooded killer. I think he hasn't killed anyone. I think that was sort of the way of showing that he's working on this kind of a secret plan, but he has to go through the motions because he knows he's being watched. But to me, no, I think he's not killing anyone yet. I think he's sort of buying himself some time to figure out a way to not have to kill anyone.
I think so. The last couple episodes really dealt very sort of, realistic is a funny word to use about the situation, but realistically with what it would be like to try to date a zombie and be romantic with a zombie, and it's tough. Can you talk about that sort of back and forth they're having, where after so much time of having a weird rift, they've connected again, and yet there's so many obstacles on top of the ones we're talking about that he's keeping secret. Will that continue to be just trying to figure out what is this, how is this?
Yeah, I think that it's something that isn't going away, because it's a very sort of kind of fundamental issue that they're having to work through, So that is going to be a struggle for them. And I like how you said that. It's like, yeah, it's a very sort of realistic approach to a very unrealistic situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is great, because I like when the writers, to their credit, do a great job of making the characters relatable while in the middle of a completely unrealistic situation.
Yeah.
Like when you're relating to a zombie's issues. You know what I mean? The struggle of dating a zombie, like, that's so bonkers, yet to their credit, they're putting it in a situation, or they're putting it in such a way that you're like, oh yeah, I can understand how that would be difficult. You know what I mean? It's like, what? How am I relating to this right now?
Right.
But in regards to Liv and Major, it will be something that they're gonna have to struggle with. It's not gonna be something that's gonna go away easily.
Your show has kind of an interesting group of villains now, sort of ever-growing villains, because you've got Blaine, who's sort of, he's figuring out his place in the world right now, and Vondu Clark, and now we've met Stacey Boss, who's, that situation. So can you talk about when we start to see sort of these different villains kind of intersect a bit more, and see how they might overlap going forward?
It's a tricky one, because there's not too much I can say, but I think it is safe to say that there will be, some crossover, and they will not all be allowed to exist in a vacuum apart from one another, and there will be some sort of bumping of heads amidst the three of them before much longer.
Another person keeping a lot of secrets is Vondu Clark's daughter, who's sort of there amongst Liv, but, no one, she doesn't know that. So you talk about that situation and that relationship between Major and her, because obviously that's had some back and forth too. So will that start to escalate?
Major's not out of the woods there. And, he's made some very strange bedfellows, and you talk about all the different sort of, lies that Major has to keep up with. Gilda's doing a good amount of lying herself. She is in, I think, such a pickle. Like, now that Liv and Major are back together, Major's just going to be doing random pop-ins. So it's only a matter of time before he pops in one time when she's there. Or Gilda slips up somehow, and Liv finds out. The only thing is that Gilda is so cool, calm, and collected that I feel like it wouldn't be an accidental slip up. It would be her intentionally blowing up the situation. But yeah, it is safe to say that that situation is going to get worse before it gets better.